Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you. A great God bless you to everybody that is on. Welcome to our broadcast tonight. I am so excited. I am so elated. I'm telling you, it is going to be amazing the night that we are going to have tonight. We have a wonderful guest here. I am talking about Dr. G.R. Quarles. I listen. I'm telling you, this man of God is amazing. And I'm telling you, to the Married to Music community, this is what I need you all to do. Before I even introduce him and bring up the floor with him, I want everybody at this time, if you would and could, please, I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to let everybody know, Lottie Dottie and everybody. How many bodies? Everybody. All right. I need you all to let everybody know that he is on when right now. He is on right now with us. And I need you to share. All right. I need you to put this in your broadcast. Call people too. All right. And let them know that the Married to Music community beyond, I am talking about, we are going beyond today. All right. We are going beyond today. We are empowering. We're having an empowering conversation on securing a legacy of love, wealth, and impact today. So, having said that, y'all, I want to introduce to you and present to many this wonderful man of God. I'm talking about a man of faith and a dedicated advocate for financial empowerment, founder of AHQ Publishing LLC and AHQ Grant Solutions LLC, which he runs with his daughter. I am talking about Dr. G.R. Quarles. All right. He also has extensive experience in financial literacy, wealth building strategies, grant writing, y'all. Come on, and a church financial operations. He's retired IRS. Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. And he's an accomplished author. He's passionate about helping the African American community establish long term financial security and generational wealth. I am so excited to introduce and to present to you this powerful man of God, Dr. G.R. Quarles. Come on now. MBA and DBA, y'all. Educated black man. Come on now. I'm talking about educated. Educated. So, Dr. Quarles, thank you so much for coming. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Beyond Today with our Married to Music community. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I am so delighted to be a part of this fabulous Beyond Today opportunity. On the screen, I am sharing some of the books that I've written. Hopefully, you're able to see them right now. Empowering Wealth, Financial Literacy Guide for the African American Community. I've also authored a book on the African American Church, business operations, strategic planning. This book will help take the Black church for the next 20 years, even considering what we are going through in Washington right now. My next book is The Empowering Wealth, 20 Powers Within. My daughter has a book. She wrote this book when she was 15 years old. She's now 17. And she's a tremendous speaker. And she wrote a book about a 30-day devotional and academic success strategies. Just to throw in a plug for my daughter, she's still a junior in high school right now. She sings with the Virginia Union Gospel Choir. She is a part of an organization on Howard University's campus. She attended college at William and Mary for entrepreneur venture capital, and also University of Chicago. And she's just received an invitation to attend Princeton for a week this summer, all expenses paid. Last book is 52 Weeks of Devotions for Your Financial Success. And I shared those books because, as it was stated earlier by Sister Young, my whole background, having worked for the Internal Revenue Service, having been in examinations and auditing corporations, nonprofits, and specializing in retirement planning, I had very close insight to um, finance. And here at Virginia Union University, where I am now an assistant professor of accounting, I teach global finance, I teach international trade and business, I teach accounting one, accounting two for intermediate accounting. So my whole background, and plus I pastored for 15 years. And so I know the challenges of the Black church, whether it be small or large. Um, and now one of my entities that I'm very involved in is artificial intelligence and how this can be impacted for the African American community. And so I've started um, an interest group, and you can perhaps see the interest group QR code on the screen. And I would ask that you would join our interest group. And our goal is to prepare businesses and college students to understand artificial intelligence, specifically ChatGPT, and how to utilize it every day, not only just with essays and answering true, false, and multiple choice questions, but how to use it to strategize and to develop your ministries and your music ministries. So please scan the QR code and join our interest group, and you will be receiving a text or email about opportunities for workshops. you know, because of the fact that I've pastored, I've held national positions in the Baptist denomination as well as local denominations and state denominations. I found that this particular opportunity for me to speak about financial empowerment and how it matters to musicians and creatives, your gifts and talents are essential part of our worship ministry. And certainly, we oftentimes look at the pastors and the ministers for um, just consultation. Um, and, it never dawned on me until it was brought to my attention that we need to also take a look at the musicians, those who also receive 1099 forms and that are paid and compensated and may want to write their own music and so forth. I was very privileged back in 2015 and 16 to be the executive producer for Lucinda Moore as she was getting back into the music singing. And of course, I was able to help her as her executive producer to produce her single, Walking in My Favor. After 6 years of her being in a hiatus status, I just, this opportunity that's being provided to me by Ms. Young and Mrs. Durant, I'm very honored and I'm very privileged because for me, this is an untapped market where I think I can be very beneficial. So I'm going to go quickly through these slides. Um, I have 51 slides, and I don't think you're going to want to deal with 51 slides. So certainly I'm going to make them available to you, but I'm going to talk about this ministry. I'm going to talk about setting up your business, um, marketing your business as a musician. I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff, how to even create an incubator within the church for other musicians. And these are things that God has given me, and some of these items are also in my book. But let's start with the biblical foundation of financial stewardship. The Bible provides clear guidance on money management, financial wisdom, and stewardship. One of my favorite scriptures, Proverbs 3:9-10, says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing." So the Bible speaks quite often in so many different variations and words and in the variations of the various translations about wealth. you know, God wants all of us to be prosperous. And as we look at the musicians and the space of musicians in our churches and our communities, even in the secular music, you know, there's an opportunity for not only a blessing uh, to others, but also a blessing to be able to take care of your own families and yourself through music ministry and music opportunities. Many musicians and creators struggle with limiting beliefs about money, believing that having wealth conflicts with faith. However, as I discuss in Empowering Wealth, which is the book that I wrote on financial literacy, financial empowerment allows us to, number one, give more freely to ministries, charities, and those in need. Number two, invest in our future, avoiding financial stress in later years. Number three, set an example for younger generations about responsible money management. Understanding income streams for musicians and creatives. Number one, performance fees and live gigs, teaching and coaching, streaming and digital sales, merchandising, music licensing and sync deals, event promotions, session work, and production services. You know, many of our musicians and many of our talented persons out there in this space, they do these things, and sometimes they're not categorized on paper. They're not categorized by account numbers on their expense and revenue sheets. And so this whole presentation helps with so many aspects that musicians will face. So budgeting and money management for musicians. Number one, track your income. You want to list every source of income you have. Number two, list your expenses. Separate your personal expenses from your business expenses. This is extremely important. Number three, save for your taxes. Set aside 20 to 30% of your earnings for taxes. If you get paid $100, you want to set aside at least $20 to $30 for taxes. Okay? I've seen in situations where a lot of people that should be filing, making quarterly payments, estimated tax payments, do not do so. And at the end of the year, they sometimes will receive a penalty, and that penalty can be included penalty plus interest. And so if you are very organized and you're very confident in how you're managing your funds, you will be saving for your taxes on the side that you will not touch. Always have an emergency fund to last you at least 3 to 6 months of expenses for slow periods. Invest in your retirement. You know, many of our musicians, you know, this might be a side job. You know, they might have a full-time job with health insurance, with life insurance, dental, vision, retirement plan, 401k plan. They might work in a school system, or you know, college school system, public private school system with a different type of retirement. But either way, some musicians, that's all they do. They are musicians, and their income is strictly from the events that they perform, and they receive a check or a deposit, direct deposit, or something of that nature. So invest in your retirement. What are we talking about? Open Roth IRA, SEP IRA for long-term savings. There are some budgeting apps, and I want you to take note of that. And those of you that are listening, feel free to take a screenshot of this, because these apps, YNAB, Mint, or QuickBooks, self-employed, can help track spending and categorize expenses. If you want to start a music business, some of the responsibilities you need to have is determine your business structure. One of the things that I do as a consultant, I help especially startup business determine whether you should be a sole proprietor, a LLC, an S Corp, or a Corp. In my book, Empowering Wealth, I talk about and give instructions and guidance on keeping business and personal separate, and how to register your business, how to get an EIN, how to open up a bank account, a business bank account. Now, some of you might even want to have a contract with the city, with the state, where when opportunities come about, how do you get called to provide, not only singing or musician services, instrumental services, but sound equipment services? There are times when I've been called upon to provide audio, microphones, stands, speakers. And so that's a whole nother profitable business aspect of the music industry as well. Understanding taxes for musicians and creatives. Your Schedule C. If you're a sole proprietor, then you would file a Schedule C. This is allowing you to file the income and expenses as a self-employed musician. And of course, this is one of the schedules that would be attached to the 1040 tax return. You also, many of you receive over $600 sometime just for one engagement. This could be from a church or for an event. Technically, the person or the business that's compensating you should have you fill out a W-9 form, which is a informational form, to be able to give to you at the end of January for the prior tax season a 1099. Okay. And also there's a form 8829 if you work from home. This allows for a home office deduction as well. Tax deductions for musicians and creatives. Instruments and equipment, pianos, guitars, sound systems, microphones. Studio costs, renting a space, recording software, mixing services. Travel expenses, flights, hotels, mileage for gigs or events, marketing and promotion, website hosting, ads, album covers. All of this can be written off on your taxes. Now, I'm sure most of you already know that. But guess what? I have found just from personal experience that a lot of times persons are not taking all of the advantages of deductions that they possibly could do. Not only for a sole proprietor, but as well for the LLC, if you have a limited liability company. So there are some very important tax publications for musicians and creatives. The IRS publication 535, business expenses, IRS publications 463, travel, entertainment, and car expenses. IRS publication 334, tax guide for small business owners. And, many of you perhaps have an accountant or a CPA or a bookkeeper, but in this day and time, all that's good and fine, but, it's good to know how to do your own tax returns. Unless you get into some complicated forms, Schedule Ds, for investments and for rental properties and things of that nature, which could be a little bit more extensive and may require some additional assistance from a CPA. Creating generational wealth and long-term financial planning. Many musicians think about today's income, but true wealth building requires planning for the future. My book talks about this. 3 areas that I really target in the book is investing in stocks and bonds, using platforms like Charles Schwab, stock slices to start investing with as little as $5. I want to talk about that a little bit, Ms. Young, if you don't mind. For those, many of you probably are maybe experienced at investing, but those who have never invested in the stock market, I would suggest that you try Charles Schwab. It is an opportunity for you to see how it works for just a small investment. And you can buy a $100, $200 stock for $5, that's why it's called stock slice. And then as you become familiar with it and you look at sites like Yahoo Finance or Charles Schwab's site, you're able to begin to pick up on the trends. Something else that will help you tremendously, and I didn't put it in my presentation, is Bloomberg. And when I'm in my car, I listen to Bloomberg all the time. All the time. That allows me to know what's going on in the financial markets, not only in the United States, but also in Australia and Japan. It lets me know what stocks are moving quicker, faster today, what the Dow Jones is doing, what the NASDAQ is doing. And not only do I listen to it in my car, I'm here in my office right now, and I keep the Bloomberg station up at all times. Why? Because if I see a stock going down, it might be something I want to grab, might be something I want to invest in. And I would suggest that if you really want to get into it, that you connect with a professional uh, stockbroker or a professional firm that can help you if you want to really start putting more money into investing. Purchase life insurance, protect your family, and build generational wealth. I always tell people life insurance is not for the deceased, it is for the living. You take care of all of the expenses of the deceased, as well as you're in a position now to plan for the future and to take care of your family as you move forward. Estate planning is extremely important. Set up a trust or a will to secure your legacy as well. Excuse me. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good person leaves an inheritance for children's children. Somebody ought to say amen about that. I got to say that one again. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Wealth is not just about income. Let's get that straight. It's not just about income. It's about impact. I'll try not to preach here, but also want to talk about detailed steps to creating a small business as a singer, musician, producer, or promoter. Starting a small business. A lot of people, if you sing at funerals, if you sing at weddings, and you're compensated, technically your business. And and if you're getting income, you want to be in a position to, have expenses to go against that income. You're talking about your mileage to the facility. If you have a office at home, based on the square footage of your house, there's a formula for it. There's just so much, the clothing, the shoes, the haircuts, going to the hairstylist, the makeup, the jewelry. There are things that you can, utilize as expenses, especially if it's geared towards your profession. You want to define your business brand. Identify your niche. Are you a solo artist? Are you a music producer? Are you an event promoter? Are you a music educator? You want to develop a unique brand identity. Choose a stage name or business name. Create a logo and a visual branding. Develop a mission statement. I see so many people that don't have mission statements, don't have visions. I should be able to walk up to anyone that is a professional artist. What is your vision statement? What is your mission statement? Why do you sing? So these are things that you want to have on paper, and you want to have them on paper, especially if you want to start doing business with a bank, if you want to start doing business with a lender, if you want to put in a proposal to perform at a specific event that's being sponsored by a corporation, by state government, federal government. You want to choose a business model. Every business should have a business model. Will you generate income through live performances, music sales, streaming, production services, event promotion, or teaching? Also, step 2, register your business. Sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, C Corp. Register your business with your state government. And I know in the state of Virginia, we have what is called a state corporate commission, the SEC, and any legal entity in the state of Virginia. And you can be outside, you can be in another state and register in another state, but that's how you become a legal entity. And then you want to obtain your EIN, your employee identification number, from the IRS. You can do that on the website. Oftentimes I see, if you Google that, EIN number, how do you get an EIN number? There are sites out there that will charge you fees. You can go to irs.gov, and get your EIN number free. And you can get it oftentimes within 5 to 10 minutes. Do you need one? If you're a sole proprietor, you can just use your social security number. But EIN number can be used for a lot of different things. Also, some cities, some townships require a business license. It's something that you have to check in your own individual locality. Considering trademarking your stage name or your business name as well. Step 3, set up business finances. Open a business account, bank account, apply for business credit to track expenses. If you have a business right now, if you're, it could be your last name, ministries, your last name, something, you know, you also might want to consider getting a Dun and Bradstreet number. Dun and Bradstreet number is a form of credit for businesses, and there are strategies to increase your credit with Dun and Bradstreet that I can discuss as a consultant with you if you reach out to me, and I'll give you more specific details on how to do that. You want to invest also in accounting software. I'm old fashioned. I like to use Excel to do everything. I was a Lotus 123 guy before Excel came out. But QuickBooks is very good, and Wave and FreshBooks. These are very good tools. Create a budget for equipment, for marketing, for traveling, production costs. Never wait on determining how much money you're going to make in order to take care of your expenses. And I see a lot of people doing that. They will have an event and they may rely on ticket sales in order to, to be profitable. And that's not good. My rule of thumb is if I'm going to do an event, I want to be able to have the capital up front to pay for the event. That way, I don't have to worry about and stress myself over ticket sales. It's an investment. Some events you do well, some events you don't do well. So, up and down, up and down. At the end of the year, you hope to be in the positive. But to stress yourself and to lose sleep and to get a headache and to cause your blood pressure to go up, cause your glucose to go up because you've put yourself out there and you're relying on ticket sales and you're just praying and praying and praying that you're going to sell enough to cover your expenses. That's not good. And I think all of us have been there. I had my war stories. I used to be a concert promoter back in the 90s. And I had a situation where the recording artist and her group wouldn't even get off the bus. Very embarrassing. But it was a lesson that I learned. And so that's why I'm very strategic in making sure any ventures that I would do personally and that I would suggest that you do, that you would plan ahead. Also, consider consulting a financial advisor for tax planning and business growth. Step 4, build a digital presence. Create a website, professional bio, music videos, portfolio, contact information, booking details, merchandise stores if applicable. There are a couple of platforms too at the bottom. Business profiles on music platforms, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Audio Mac. Develop multiple income streams. I know many of you that are already listening and that will listen probably already have multiple streams of income. Number one, being a musician is another stream of income. Performance income, streaming and digital sales, merchandise, music licensing and sync deals, music production and services, teaching and coaching, event promotion. Number 6, market your business and grow your audience. Growing your audience is extremely important. That audience can be your followers. It can be those who who like on Facebook. The more that you go out and minister in music and play for different groups, perform for different groups, the more that you have an opportunity to build your audience. So, content marketing, leverage collaborations, invest in paid advertising, perform live and network, pitch to media outlets. I hope I'm sharing something that's going to be helpful to many of you. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence of sharing information that you already know. So if you could put in the comments section that I'm at least doing a good job, or if I'm not doing a good job, please let me know. You know, you can get me more excited and I get more pumped up because we're on slide 25. We got 25 more to go and I'm going to run through this. But I don't want you to leave because it gets better. I get into some deep stuff with you. Okay? Set up contracts and legal protection. Always use contracts for performances, production services, and collaborations. Contracts are important. Can I get an amen? Register your music with performance rights organizations, and they're listed. If working with a manager, agent, or a label, have legal agreements in place. Protect your intellectual property. Copyright your songs through the U.S. Copyright Office. Register beats, samples, and music compositions. 8, manage booking and clients. And I'm sure all of you got this down pat because you don't want to miss any events. Use booking software. Offer customized services for different clients. Set up automated contracts and payment systems like Square, PayPal, Stripe. Develop a press kit, professional bio, high quality photos, performance videos, social media, and streaming links, contact information. Scale your business. Outsource tasks. You can't do everything. That's why it's always good to have a core group of people around you. Number one, that you can trust. Number one, that's accountable. And number 3, that's dependable. Amen. Social media manager, accountant, an assistant, a driver. Okay? Expand your reach by applying for grants, sponsorships, and funding opportunities. Invest in better equipment, production tools, and marketing. Consider building a team, your band members, producers, public relations agents, legal advisors. Look for international opportunities, including online collaborations and touring. Stay consistent and keep growing. In other words, have a strategic plan. Now, let's get into some good stuff that you don't hear too much about. And that's why another reason that I was recommended to come over here and share with you some information. I have developed phases to develop and maintain a successful entrepreneur music ministry, program, outreach in the church and community. Phases 1 through phases 10. Okay? They're on my PowerPoint. And, if you, whatever the methodology is used for you to get a copy of this PowerPoint, and perhaps the host might want to share this PowerPoint on her pages and her formatted locations for digital resources. I want this to get out there, and I can speak to this. I can do workshops on this. Vision and planning. You got to have a plan. Okay? Again, this is how to develop and maintain a successful entrepreneurial music ministry program outreach. Okay? Establish, define, conduct, set. Vision, strategy, plan, action. Number 2, leadership and organizational structure. Creating space for entrepreneurs in music. All of our churches and some community facilities, they have spaces, especially the church. There is a room somewhere that the church is not using. Let that room be a place where entrepreneurs of any space, or in this instance, musicians, music entrepreneurs, can meet and collaborate and share ideas and share experiences to help one another. Determine the extent to which music entrepreneurs can utilize these spaces, considering factors like accessibility, suitability, compatibility with local regulations. This is good stuff right here. And I want to see more of our churches doing these types of outreach programs. Establishing an entrepreneur business incubator. A business plan for the music entrepreneur business incubator, outlining its purpose, services, target audience, and operational structure. What is the incubator? This is where our communities and our churches could come in and help other musicians, help develop new young musicians, piano lessons, drum lessons, saxophone lessons, singing vocal lessons. How do you break into the industry? You know, there's a lot of red tape to become a gospel professional singer. I call it red tape. You might call it something else, but you got to know somebody and you got to know how the industry works. Okay. So phase 5, grant funding and other funding sources. There are grants out there. You got to know who to go to. You got to know how to find these grants. Yeah. You know, the grants on the federal level, you know, they might still be accessible, may not. I don't know at this point. Too early to tell. But I can tell you one thing. There are companies, there are people, there are industries that are willing to invest in you, but you have to have yourself organized. You must be able to present a portfolio proposal of what you're all about and what you can do. Outreach and promotion. I think most of you probably are very familiar with this, but marketing is the key here. Knowing the various channels and having a strong network. When you have opportunities to visit churches, network with pastors who have connections and who have a strong network, also attending conferences, conventions, getting yourself out there. And, you know, sometimes you have to do something and you don't get compensated. But your reward is, the blessing is, somebody might give you a call. Can you come and do this? Can you come and do that? Can you perform? And then somebody else sees you in that space and on that platform. And then next thing you know, another door opens for you. Program development and implementation. This is another one that I like. Number 2. And I teach this and I preach this everywhere I go. Establish partnerships with local educational institutions. All of you have an HBCU somewhere within certain miles of where you live and where you work. Get to know your HBCU music department. Get to know all of your college music departments. You can become a lecturer. You can become a presenter. You can target it from a different angle. You know, get to know your business organizations. Get to know your sororities, your fraternities in your community. You know, and another thing that I see a lot of people don't do, get to know your congressman. Don't worry about whether they, you know, what affiliation they are with. Get to know your congressmen and your senators. Get to know your mayors. You know, if you saw your mayor or your governor in a store, you want them to know your first name. And that's how I have operated over the years. Now, I don't know everybody, but I tell you one thing, I have made myself known in different arenas, and sometimes developing those relationships can help. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if you have not communicated with your state senator, your state congressman, your local board of supervisors, your local town council, your city council person, then that's something you need to do within the next several days. Get to know who these people are so they will know who you are. Okay? I hope I'm not getting anybody upset with me. Can I see something over here in the chat to let me know I'm on target here? Okay. Monitoring, evaluating, and sustainability. You got to monitor what you're doing. You got to give yourself evaluations, and you have to stay on target. Collaborate. Collaborate with other musicians, with other churches, with other community organizations. Collaborate with community leaders. Every community has a strong leader. Every church has a strong leader, other than the pastor or the bishop or the elder or the apostle. Okay? There is someone that people respect. There is someone that people look up to. There is someone that people go to in the time of need, in the time of prayer. You need to know these people. Okay? I believe in partnerships, ongoing support and expansion. Now, education and training. Invest in promising music entrepreneurs to receive a certificate or a certification in a program. You know, many of our musicians may have undergraduate degrees, may have graduate degrees, may have PhDs. You know, I've had people say, "Well, I got a Holy Ghost PhD." You know, I can sing PhD. Well, you know, having some type of paper, which I call a credential, is important. Because at some point, if you're trying to grow, you're going to get somewhere, you're going to talk to somebody that's going to want to know what your credentials are. Okay? And so the church and nonprofits can play a very significant role in helping sponsor programs with local HBCUs, with local community colleges, with colleges to go through some type of certificate or certification program. The local church can offer a program. You just bring in a speaker, someone that knows what they're doing, and you know, have a workshop, have a certificate, a certification. You want the entity that's providing the certification to be legitimate and to also have credentials behind them that's offering the certification as well. Examples of online entrepreneur certificate programs, and this is just entrepreneurial, regardless of the space that you're in. Howard University has a good program. North Carolina A&T State University have a good program. If you Google, you will find that there are other HBCUs and other colleges as well. Now, one of the things that I do, I offer a 6-week certificate program for entrepreneurs, and I can cater it to musicians. Am I a musician? I played saxophone. I used to sing. My daughter is a saxophonist, and she sings. She sings at national anthems and lift up your voice and sing. She's called upon all the time to do that, as well as sing with the gospel choir. So music is a part of my family, and so I think it's something that we could do, that we could put together a 6-week certificate program for musicians if you're interested. And this is what we would talk about each week. Foundations of Entrepreneurship, week 1. Because of the sake of time, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. Week 2, business planning and financial management. Week 3, marketing and branding strategies. Week 4, customer service and relationship building. And I do have key scriptures to reference these initiatives each week. Week 5, leadership and team building. Week 6, faith, purpose, and entrepreneurship. And if you're interested, that's my cell phone number, my email address, and you can reach out to me. Now, I am an assistant professor at Virginia Union. I always want to let people know this. We have an executive MBA program here at Virginia Union University. And we also have one of our specialties is church management for in the executive MBA. And we have regular executive MBA, we have hospitality, sports management. So we have different types of um, um, MBA programs under the executive MBA. So think about Virginia Union if you're considering that. You more than welcome to reach out to me by email, and I will connect you with the right person. And my email address is down at the bottom, grquarles@vuu.edu. And in conclusion, taking action today. What action will you take today after I've shared with you everything that I've shared? And, I want you to really consider um, becoming a part of this AI interest group, which is the QR code once again. The reason being is that artificial intelligence in music can get very creative. And with our administration focusing a lot on artificial intelligence, there's a strong need to increase our knowledge on the college level, student level, graduate level, and also professional level, because I believe from this day on, the more that you understand artificial intelligence as it relates to your field, the better equipped you are for the next opportunity, the next door that opens. And so join our interest group. And I would like to collaborate with Mrs. Durant and also Mrs. Young so that we can, get this out there more. And I can even do another workshop solely for musicians where it comes to artificial intelligence. And some of you, again, I never want to insult anyone's intelligence. Some of you that are listening may know more about this than I do. So please share. You know, I like to be around people that know more than me and that can share and I can learn from. So we learn together, we share together, and we got to help each other. And we got to continue to move forward as African Americans and as a race of people on this planet, and just move forward in peace and in love. I have enjoyed sharing with you. And again, this is the end of my presentation. If you are interested in ordering my Empowering Wealth financial literacy book, the QR code is to your left. And if you want to go to my website, the QR code is to my right, and the other one is to my left. So God bless you. And I am open for any questions, perhaps.
Okay, wonderful. This was awesome. I tell you, Dr. Quarles, I was over here like, yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. And the engagement with people. But I have some questions for you, if I could. Um, in your presentation, I want you to please answer for me. What are some key financial principles, if you will, every musician should adopt early in their career? Because I know you said it, but I don't know if
Yeah,
people heard that.
yeah. Well, I'm not going to use my PowerPoints anymore, okay? I'm going
Okay.
to talk off the top of my head because I know it pretty well. Number one is discipline.
Uh-huh.
We must be more disciplined in how we spend our money
Hmm.
and how we go about managing our money.
Yes.
We need to be more accountable. We need to be better stewards of our finances. Um, so oftentimes we throw money away. So
Yeah.
oftentimes we purchase as an impulsive purchaser, and we get excited. One of the things that and I hope I'm not going to taking this too far, and I don't want to insult anyone. One of the things that I have found out, having worked for the IRS, I see all kinds of tax returns. I hear people say, "Oh, I'm a millionaire," and I'm like, okay, yeah, you probably made $1 million in a year or 2 years, but you're not a millionaire in terms of net worth. Not to want to insult anyone, but the thing is that I think we need to be more realistic with ourselves of where we are in our own personal finances and not try to answer questions in comparison to our neighbor, to our friend, to our peer, to our brother, to our sister, to our church member. We need to know where we are. Where am I? Look in the mirror. Where am I financially? Because a lot of times I find in the African American community, we want to think like we up here, but our finances are down here. And when you try to blend both of them together, that's when we get our credit all messed up. My thing is keep the credit scores above 700 and 725 and 750 as much as you possibly can. And also take advantage of Dun and Bradstreet credit. I cannot express how important it is for companies, for sole proprietors to be able to understand how having Dun and Bradstreet credit can be beneficial. It can be beneficial for you being able to have a good credit score and then get a business American Express credit card. So when you have to travel all around the country, now you have this 30-day credit card that you can charge $5,000 on, and it doesn't affect your personal credit because it's under your business credit. But if you don't pay the bill, you are a guarantor. So all of that comes in being disciplined. Did I answer your question, or you want me to dig up some more for you?
No. You answered that because I'm looking right now, and I'm be honest with you, Dr. Quarles. I have Dun and Bradstreet uh, numbers and everything, and I'm like, hold up, I didn't take advantage of their credit, so I'm about to hop on that post haste.
Well, Ms.
With
Young,
that.
can I say this to you? You
Yes,
just open up that door.
yes. Come
With,
on, come
with Dun and Bradstreet, when you first open up a Dun and Bradstreet account,
on.
you pay a $5.99 or $6.99 fee.
Yes, I did.
$6.99, $599 or $699. You start out with perfect credit. Okay? With your social security number, you have to build your credit. Okay, social security number, you got to start at the bottom and build your credit. With Dun and Bradstreet, you can pay a fee and you start out at the top with excellent credit, and then you got to know how to manage it. You got to know how to get some small accounts for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months. Net 30-day accounts, pay them off in a timely manner. Okay, and then you will have these credit card offers that will come to you. But as the guarantor, you still have to have a good personal credit score. You can't get an American Express credit card if you got a 500 personal credit score. But if you got a 700 credit score, you're going to start getting in the mail from Citibank, from American Express, these unlimited, sometimes 10,000, 25,000, which is helpful, not for you to mismanage and to run your credit up, but for you to be able to operate your business, hop on a plane so you can get to an engagement where you can make the money that you're going to use to pay off the credit card that you use to get there.
Dr. Quarles, you don't seem
Yes.
to understand what you just did, sir.
Oh,
For
Lord,
me
I'm sorry.
personally, because I hadn't been paying attention. So this right here
Mm-hmm.
just opened up a whirlwind for me. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. I've been
You're
searching
welcome.
for this. Well,
You're
okay.
welcome.
I got another question for you.
Hope
All
I can
right.
answer.
Now, we talked about creatives earlier, different musicians and different people like that. How can creatives, all right, multiply streams of income to sustain financial stability? It's one thing about think about it, but how can they sustain that thing? How can they sustain multiple streams?
Number one, by not being in debt. Okay, that's number two. And if you have debt, if it's not a mortgage, or I'm not talking about mortgage, I'm not talking about a car note, but I'm talking about credit card debt. I'm talking about clothing store debt. I'm talking about living beyond your means. If you don't have debt, then when you get a check, you pay yourself and you put the rest of it in an investment vehicle.
Okay.
Sustainability, what are you talking about? Get a mutual fund. You
Okay.
know, if you don't follow the stock market every day, you shouldn't be buying individual stocks. Okay, get a mutual fund. And
Okay.
if you want to start and sustainability means that you are positioning yourself financially to live for today, and you're setting aside for tomorrow. If an emergency comes, you've got something. You got something that you can reach over to and help out. Whenever you borrow money from your savings account, put it back. Whenever you use your credit card, pay it off the same month if you can. If you can't, don't give up. If you got $1,000 on a credit card, well, most of the people on here probably got $10,000, $100,000 credit cards. You know, I'm on here with all these elite people that, you know, 6 figures and 7 figures and all that kind of stuff. But if you get $100, you set 30% off to taxes. You want to tie 10% to your church, and then you want to have something to spend. Then even if you put $10 or $20 away, be consistent. I like mutual funds because now we're talking about interest. We're talking about reinvesting of dividends. You know, we're talking about, you know, it growing over a period of time. This is excellent for those that are in their 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get to be 40 and 50 and 60 years old, and we're in our professions, we are dealing with our 401k plans. We're dealing with our retirement plans. We're dealing with our pension plans. And God forbid, you know, for those that are in government, see, the thing I liked about government is that federal government and most state governments, they have a different type of pension plan. Their pension plan, when they retire, they get paid for life. A lot of people don't know that. I'm retired federal government. I get a check for life until I die. But if I was in corporate America, I have their 401k plans because most corporations don't have pension plans.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a 401k plan that they will match based on what you put in.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And so you want to basically set money aside, and now you want to set it aside and you want to invest it.
Yes.
And you invest based on your risk level that you're willing to take. Okay? I'm working on a book dealing with cryptocurrency, you know, because I'm into all this stuff. I love this stuff, you know, introducing cryptocurrency to African Americans, you know, introducing Bitcoins to African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
We know about stocks, we know about bonds, but we may not know about municipal bonds. We may not know about specific types of bonds. We may not even know about specific types of mutual funds. But to answer your question specifically, you got to invest. Invest. And then the next thing is life insurance policies.
Yeah.
Years ago, there was a company, you know, you could get a $100,000 policy and pay $20 a month based on your age. You know, those were term policies. A lot of people benefited from term policies. A lot of people benefit now from term policies. When I say benefit, when someone passes away, you know, $100,000 policy being rewarded is much different than you getting 10,000 or 20,000, and then you have a burial expense. Now you got money to invest. Now you got money to put in the IRA. Now you got money to put in the savings account. Now you got money to put in CD. Now you got money to put in the money market. Now you got money to put in an account so that when it's time for your children to go to school, you can pay the tuition
Uh-huh.
each semester like it's supposed to. So financial planning is extremely important, and it's not for everybody. Sometimes you need to get a professional finance. Now, I am not a licensed professional financial planner. I just happen to know about it. Okay. But to be able to get a licensed financial planner to sit down and to help you to navigate your income, your investments, your rental properties, it's important. You're going to have to pay a fee for that. They're not going to do it for free.
No, 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 no.
But it's
So,
all about discipline and planning.
and you said that key word, discipline.
Discipline.
That's the key word, I believe, for us all.
It's the key
Discipline
word.
and planning, and also stewardship. Because
Yes.
the Bible says, God has given us the ability to create wealth, and many of us were asking God for it, but He's already given us the ability to do so. But the reason why we all are not doing so is we don't have discipline. You don't need deliverance, you need discipline. It's just you need discipline, and also you need your mind transformed, because it's like God is like, what have you done with me? Well, I've been stealing from Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
God doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want us to do that. We're supposed
No.
to be kingdom. So this right here is powerful. You just said. I have one last question for you before we conclude tonight. What financial tools? I just want to just reiterate and recap. What financial tools or resources would you recommend, again, for the community of creatives looking to build long-term wealth? You touched on it, but I just want to reiterate that. What financial tools or resources?
Number one, start listening to Bloomberg.
Hmm.
Bloomberg Radio, Bloomberg satellite TV, digital TV channel.
Okay.
Everything you need to know, you will find somewhere in a commentary on Bloomberg.
Okay.
When I was younger, I used to read the Wall Street Journal.
Hmm.
When I was a freshman at Virginia Union in 1983, I subscribed to the Wall Street Journal.
Hmm.
I was probably the only freshman in college doing that on
Yeah.
campus. But I knew that if I understood finances and investments, I could help. And in addition to my faith, you don't hear me talk a lot about it, but it's in my books.
Okay.
And I need to talk about that for a moment. Not only is discipline a key word, but having the right mindset is important. People will cross your path on a daily basis, and their conversation, their presence, their aura, their spirit, some good, some bad, can interfere with your mindset. You can be focused. That's another key word. You can be focused. But as soon as a certain person comes around, a certain word is mentioned, a certain conversation starts, it takes you off of your path. That's why being disciplined is so important. And every morning when I get up, I look in the mirror and I make sure my mindset is right. Now, what do I mean? And I was calling you Ms. Young, but I'm sorry, Pastor Young. What do I mean? That means that, and I'll just break it down. I will have my own conversation with God every morning, every night before I go to bed. And I'm going to go deep into this, okay? If you got a clock in your room, you look at the clock. You got 12 o'clock at the top, you got 6 o'clock at the bottom, you got 3 to the east, and you got 9 to the west. It spells the word news. North, south, east, west spells news. That clock is a linear graph. If you took algebra and you took calculus and trigonometry, you remember that you had 0 in the middle, you had the vertical axis, and then you had the horizontal axis. Everything to the right was positive, everything to the left was negative. And you know that when you get up in the morning, you're going to deal with positive things, you're going to deal with negative things, you're going to be upset, you're going to be happy. The negatives are negatives. If you were to plot your day on a graph, you always want to go to sleep at night in the positive. If you didn't laid somebody out, cuss somebody out, didn't pray for somebody, didn't help somebody, all of that's pushing you over to the negative. But if you want to be in the positive, let's break it down. 2 positive opportunities minus 1 sin gives you a 1. If that 1 sin and you done 10 things, now you're still 9 in the positive. It's just a certain mindset that I've used for myself. I'm not perfect. I've had my trials and tribulations, but what sustains me is my faith. Because I know that God is in me. I know that God covers me. And I know that God has equipped me with knowledge through reading, through attending workshops and seminars like this, from listening to various preachers and saying certain kind of prayers. I know that God has instilled in me the spirit of being able to adjust my mindset as needed based on what I'm being confronted with on a daily basis. Give you an example. If I walk into Macy's right now and I see something that I want, either I can afford it or I cannot afford it. You know how we do. We can make ourselves afford it. But say, I'm going to step out on faith and I'm going to buy this today. And then when that bill comes due, Lord, why did I do that? That mindset. And another thing, Pastor, birds of a feather flock together. Eagles fly with eagles. I'm not saying that folks should think they're better than anybody else. But you should hang around people that are going to help you grow, not help you fall. We can fall bad enough by ourselves. And I'm just getting real with it, Pastor. And I'm able to see this thing from, I've been able to see in my career where people lived a lifestyle that they really couldn't afford to live. I got this, I got that. Yeah, you got it. But look what it's done to you. Your health is declining because you're stressed out. You can't keep money in the bank because of overdrafts. You got to take this money out the bank and move it over here so something can clear. Let's be real with ourselves. Some of us are acting like millionaires and we are hundredaires.
Come on.
I don't need to say anymore. I don't want to get anybody upset with me.
Let's be real with ourselves.
Be real.
You think you are a millionaire, but you're really, all right.
100 there.
Yando.
You might be a 10 there.
Let's be honest. My. All right. But listen, you said a lot. I know you done stepped on everybody's toes, their corns, their bunions. And we got to say amen and ouch with that. Dr. Quarles, this has been amazing. And I really hope, and even as people going to watch this on team replay, stewardship. So especially right now in the climate of our country, we don't know things are happening. We have to be mindful and be good stewards. Everybody always talks about Joseph and have a Joseph mindset. And I don't think we understand that is imperative now. You can't just get a check and eat a check up. You need to be able to divvy that thing. And I know sometimes it is very tempting. And I speak to myself to be like, yo, I want to just purchase. I want to just buy. But sometimes you got to do some DIY. Do it yourself. All right. You got to do it yourself. That means You don't got to go to the restaurants. You wanna have you a nice luxurious night, a date night with your spouse or whatever. Do it in your house. You wanna you wanna do certain things
Amen.
with it. Bring the restaurant to the house. You wanna go travel. Go in your car instead of doing certain things over.
Yes.
There's a way that we can do stuff, but I think the theme for everybody is stewardship.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you 100%.
Stewardship, discipline. But I also want to say this. I want everybody that's hearing this, if you have appreciated this, you see our lower third on the ticker. I am encouraging everybody, if you're led to sow, I want you to sow right now by going to our website, www.marriedtomusic.org, /donate. And you can give with that Givelify, because we want to bring forth more broadcasts like this, more seminars, more webinars, more podcasts like this to educate. You know, wisdom is the principal thing. And there is really no need, if we all think about it, that we all should be impoverished. We look good, but we poor in mindset. We have to be honest.
Yes.
And Dr. Quarles, I want you to please let everybody know where we can find you again, and where your books, we can purchase your books, and your email. We need to do that. And again,
Okay.
I'm encouraging everybody to sow. All right, everybody to sow. Everybody to sow. And just know, when you do give, all donations are tax deductible for
Amen.
married music. All right. So I just want everybody to know that. Dr. Quarles.
Yes. Um, my phone number is 804-925-7430. Again, 804-925-7430. I live in Virginia, and that's my cell phone number. And if I don't answer, leave me a message. If you text me who you are and how you, and why you're texting me, and mention this program, and I'll get back with you. My email address is, you can email me at Virginia Union. That's GR Quarles. That's GRQUARLES at VUU.edu. And especially if you want to discuss opportunities here in our graduate or undergraduate program. If you want to reach out to me by email in regards to any kind of consulting, you can reach me at AHQ Publishing LLC at gmail.com. AHQ Publishing LLC at gmail.com. And my website is www.ahqpublishingllc.com. Okay. And my books are on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. They are in some Targets and Walmart stores throughout the country. I don't know exactly which ones they're in. But most of the persons order my books from Amazon. And all of my books are $20. For paperbacks, hardbacks are $25. The African American Church is $25 for paperback, $30 for hardcover. And the journal notes, I have a journal notes book. My daughter has one. Those books online, I believe, are $10, and the hardback is $15. And of course, you order on Amazon, you'll get the books like in 2 or 3 days, I believe. Yeah. I am available to come and speak, to do workshops. I can do online. I can come in person. I would love to. My daughter has more engagements than I do because, yeah, she's a heavy hitter. She's the president of the youth ministry for the Baptist General Convention for the state of Virginia, over 1,200 churches. And she has spoken at community colleges on finances for youth. She wants to be an investment banker, And so, if you need somebody to come and speak to your youth and empower them, she's an empowerment speaker. You can reach out to me for my daughter as well. And that's it. Thank you, Pastor Young. Thank you, Mrs. Durant.
This is awesome. Thank you so much again, Dr. Quarles. I enjoyed myself. This was very informative. And to those that are going to be watching this on Team Replay, I call it Team Replay. Listen, you better have your notes. There's a whole heap of knowledge. I'm about to jump on something when I leave off of this. Okay,
Okay.
my
Okay.
Duns and Bradstreet, which
Yeah.
I already have my numbers, but I'm about to jump on that credit in that line of credit.
Yeah.
God just answered my prayers. Listen, doctor, listen. So I just got a prayer answered and I know how I'm going to do
Amen.
some stuff. So I
Amen.
thank God for that. Knowledge is power and I honor you today. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. And to all of you that joined in today, come on now, that joined in today for Beyond Today, y'all. For Beyond Today, I say a wonderful God bless you. I pray that you were titillated. I pray that you were intrigued. I pray that you were informed. Much wisdom to you. God bless you. God keep you all is my prayer. I love you all with the love of the Lord. God bless you and good night, y'all.